This is Miss Adams. I'm reading The Princess and the Pizza. Okay. It says Princess Pauline needed a job. Her father had given up his throne to become a woodcarver and moved them to the humble shack in a neighboring kingdom. Since the king was still learning, his carvings didn't sell, and Paulina's garden barely kept enough on the table. Paulina missed princessing. She missed walking the peacock in the royal gardens, surveying the kingdom from the castle tower, and doing the princess have in royal princessing. Paulina tried making a straight chicken around her shack, but it always pecked at her toes. Surveying the kingdom from the shack's leaky roof only made more holes. She tried princess waving to the townspeople from her father's cart, but nobody bothered to wave back. They thought she was swatting a fly. One day, a page rode past the shack, announcing that Queen Zelda of Bloom was seeking a true princess to become the bride of Prince Rupert. This is my chance to get back to the princessing, Paulina cried. She rummaged through her trunk of ex-princess stuff. She brushed the wood from her shavings from her best gown. She blew away bits of sawdust that clung to her diamond tiara. Then she tucked a piece of garlic into her bodice for good luck, snipped some fragrant herbs to cover up the garlic smell, and headed to the castle. Paulina didn't expect competition. There wasn't another princess for hundreds of miles. But when she got to Bloom Castle, Paulina found she was only one, but there are 12 princesses hoping to become a royal bride. When she looked into her assigned room, Paulina saw that her bed was piled 16 mattresses. Oh, for goodness peak's sakes! The old princess and the pea trick. That's so once upon a time. Naturally, Paulina didn't sleep all night because she felt the lumpy pea that threw all 16 mattresses. When the 12 princesses gathered in the throne room the next morning, the 7 who looked bright-eyed were sent home. Now only Paulina and the other sleepy princesses remained. First, they were made to write an essay entitled Why I Want to Have the Gracious and Exquisitely Beautiful Queen Zelda for My Mother-in-Law. Prince Rupert and Queen Zelda finally appeared on the balcony. Queen Zelda did all the talking. Congratulations, ladies. You have written some lovely essays, which I will keep in my scrapbook, and you have all passed the mattress test. But to make absolutely sure you are of royal blood, there is a second test. Only a true princess can wear these glass slippers. For peace sakes, you've never heard of sneakers? Paulina asked. Queen Zelda gave Paulina a sharp look. Nobody said you had to hike in them. Just try them on. I don't think I'd like them either. After the royal page made his way around the room with the slippers, 2 big-feeted princesses were sent home. Now only Paulina and 2 others remained. One was followed around by 7 strange little men, and the other had such a long braid dragging behind her, Paulina kept tripping over it. For peace sakes, you never heard of scissors? Paulina cried. Queen Zelda glared at Paulina. You have all passed the second princess test. Your final test is to cook a feast that proves you are worthy of being a dear Rupert's wife. The setup was, I can't see, the setup, the setup was well among the princesses, especially Paulina. For Pete's sakes, you have no royal chef? Silence, said the queen. The table holds the markings for 3 fine feasts. Choose well, for the winner will become my dear Rupert's bride. As Pauline started to the table, the long-haired princess tripped her, then loaded up with the food. By the time Pauline got there, the 7 strange little men had run off with everything else but some flour, yeast, water, 3 overripe tomatoes, and a hunk of stale cheese. Hey, that's not fair. Queen Zelda, will you help me? No, said the queen, because you have a big mouth. The servants escorted Paulina to her room and looked at the door and locked the door. Hey, how can I cook without a bowl or spoon or pots? There was no reply. Paulina tried to make bread, kneading the flour, water, and yeast together, but it only stuck to the tray in a flattened mess. She squished the tomatoes over the dough to brighten it up. It looked awful. She sprinkled cheese gratings over the top. It was still a mess, but Paulina was exhausted. For Pete's sakes, where's your fairy godmother when you need her? I'm going to take a nap. She reached for the pile of mattresses, pulled out the offending pea, and climbed into bed. She hadn't been sleeping very long when a knock at the door. Only 20 minutes left, called Queen Zelda. I don't smell anything cooking. I'm not cooking, said Paulina. I'm napping. Then I'm going home. You're not going anywhere, said the queen. The loser will be beheaded. Paulina sat right up. Beheaded? You didn't tell us that. I forgot, said Queen. Can't I have a second chance? How about I try to spin straw into gold? Or maybe I could guess a weird little man's name. No second chances, declared the queen. But that's not fair, Paulina said. Who needs to be fair? I'm the queen. Paulina leaped out of the bed and ran to the window, but it was an unbelievably long drop to the ground. The meal was her only hope. She rushed to the tray over the fire, stirred the few remaining hot coals, then crushed the garlic and sprinkled over the mass for good luck. Finally, Paulina tossed the herbs over to cover up the garlic smell. Paulina paced back and forth, planning her escape. Perhaps I could make a deal with the long-haired princess to climb down her braid. She didn't notice that the goopy dough had browned and that the crust, the tomatoes were bubbling. The hard bits of cheese had melted and the fragrance of the garlic and herbs filled the room. The page opened the door. Time's up. Paulina took a deep breath and carried the tray into the dining room. The other princesses had made lovely feasts, especially the one who had the 7 strange little men to help her. Princess Rupert, right with Paulina's tray. It's not pretty, but it smells scrumptious. He helped himself to an unusual, generous piece. What do you call the dish? Paulina shrugged. I don't know. It can't be an official entry if the contest if it doesn't have a name, said the queen. Oh, for Pete's sakes, Pauline muttered. What's that? Snapped the queen. Pete's what? Remember the beheading threat. Paulina frantically tried to think of pizza. The queen took a big bite. Odd name, but it's tasty. The winner is Paulina's Pizza. You mean I won't be beheaded? I was only kidding about the beheading, said the queen. Then I was only kidding about wanting to marry Prince Rupert. Who needs him? I have other plans. Will you leave your recipe? Asked the queen. No way, said Paulina. It's just because of the family secret. She headed for the door. I liked you best, whispered the queen, following close behind. Oh, for Pete's sake, muttered Paulina as she stamped across the drawbridge. Princess Paulina's Pizza Palace opened in a few weeks later. It featured unusually carved furniture and the 50 kinds of pizza. Every Thursday, the royal chef's night off, Queen Zelda and Prince Rupert came to Paulina's for popcorn pineapple pizza. They often stayed to play cards with Paulina's father. From then on, whenever Paulina drove the pizza delivery cart through the town doing the princess wave, everybody waved at her and asking about today's special. Life was good. Paulina was grateful not to have Queen Zelda for a mother-in-law, but she still worried about one little thing. She worried about getting Queen Zelda as her stepmother. Good night.